Introducing power. This patch rack is designed to do one thing: give your sounds power. This preset is inspired by Nasco's infamous Ableton effect rack in Power. It amazed me how he was able to create an all-in-one post-processing rack using only the stock plugins inside of Ableton. So I want to try and replicate it using FL stock plugins. Well, I was able to achieve it, but unfortunately, I had to use one plugin that actually is a third-party plugin, but the good news is that the third-party plugin is actually free. So let's get into the features of what this rack does. So this is the main knob called Power. This introduces more saturation and distortion to the overall sound, adding that extra bit of grittiness to it. So if we were to pretty much demonstrate this, let's put this all down. Let's just take a regular Vital and we'll add one of these complex wavetables and just have it go like this. You know, route that to Power rack. And then once we add the power, it should add a distortion on there. So it literally just adds extra saturation and distortion to it. Alright, this next knob is the tonal delay. This is great for rhythm producers. So the tonal delay just adds a tonal delay to the overall sound. And you can probably hear this better once we put a rhythm on here. So it just gives it an extra bit of tonal delay to give it that extra metallic feel to the sound. Right, the sub cut here is if you ever wanted to add your own sub to the sound afterwards, just throw this on and you just cut the sub off. But if you want to keep the sub in, you don't even have to worry about it. Next, we have the OTT section. This was pretty tricky to get because I was trying to simulate how OTT works inside of Ableton as well as how it works as Steve Dutta's plugin. And I was able to kind of get there, even though it's not necessarily perfect, but I was able to use FL stock multiband compressors to actually be able to pull this off. So the OTT right here pretty much controls the time as well as the amount of compression. And then for the OTT gain is just pretty much like the makeup gain inside of the compressor. Alright, and then last but not least, we have this section, which is actually my favorite section of Power, called the Smart Clip. And it's called a Smart Clip because unlike other clippers where the more you push it towards 0 dB, it starts to create like certain distorted artifacts into your sound. Well, with Smart Clip, you'll be able to drive up the sound while being able to preserve most of the mids and the highs qualities. So that's actually very powerful. So for example, we can drive the sound up even more. And you see how as we introduce it in there, it starts getting like very distorted and you can hear the artifacts come through. That's where the preserve knob comes in, where once you add this, you can still keep the mids and the highs while still driving it upwards. And the frequency knob right here, if you're making like tear out basses and stuff, this frequency, you can adjust this upwards and it'll adjust the frequency splitter to shift over a little bit more, so that way you get more of the bass harmonics inside of your tear out basses. So that way you can preserve a little bit more of that grittiness while also still keeping the highs really clean. But for most sounds, you pretty much can just use them, use it with just the frequency down. So this is it without power. And this is it with it. Now, pretty much power was mainly used to make bass processing a little bit faster, but you can actually use this on like pads or leads or anything to just get that extra post-processing feel to it. So let's make, let's just take like a regular basic shape. And I highly recommend, because there's the low multiband compressor going on, it's gonna crunch the low end of the leads. So if you're gonna be using this on leads, be sure you put the subcut all the way up so that way it just doesn't touch the low ends of it. Let's try it out with just like a regular pad. Let's go to one of the free pads right here, like something like this one. So this is it without it. And with it. And there you have it. That is Power. If you're an FL user and you've been looking for a great post processor without having to break the bank, then this patcher preset is definitely for you. If you want to grab this for yourself and test it out, feel free to join my Discord. The link will be in the description, and just head over to the exclusive plugins tab and you can find it right there. You can also find some other patcher presets that I've been making on the side as well. Oh, and a disclaimer, the third-party plugin that I used to actually finish this up is Kilohertz's Gain plugin, but it's actually free on their website, so just go ahead, download their whole ecosystem, and you'll be able to use this plugin without any hiccups. So hopefully you guys have fun with this patcher preset. I had a lot of fun making it. It took me a few iterations, but I finally nailed it down to how I wanted it, so I think it's going to be useful for everyone. And if you do use it, feel free to tag me on my socials and let me know what you use it for.